and I wasn't happy. Like, I wouldn't be glowing or happy or where I am today if I wasn't like, okay, I'm about to F some shit up. And you know what my favorite saying is? Fuck it up and figure it out.
I really like that.
Yeah. And I really live by it. Because if we don't fail, we don't make mistakes, we don't do things, we're never going to feel, first off, we're never going to feel the pain to change it.
Yes.
And if we don't feel the pain to change it, then we're going to never know the right way to move forward. And that right way means the right way for you, not somebody else.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Wow, Andrea, it's like the more we talk, it's like the more I'm like soul sister, because even how we met last year, right? So it's like we both made the decision, like, I'm going to figure out how to live according to me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to pursue this new thing. I'm going to pursue, I don't even know if it's a dream, but you're going to pursue this because it feels right. Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm your host, Jessica Caresse. And this space is a place where we talk about seemingly random topics, but in all actuality, they're connected together. And today's episode is sponsored by Caresse and Company. It's a management consulting firm that helps you with your processes and data migrations to help you get prepared to use AI. Today, we have a very special guest. She's my long lost soulmate. Oh my God, Andrea, I didn't even read your bio or anything. Like, she's my long lost soulmate. And we met up we got introduced to each other by Joe Ingram. And then I was on her podcast and we absolutely fell in love with each other. And then I met up with her in Sedona. My God, it was like soulmates reunite. And now she's finally on my podcast. It's a little bit about Andrea. Andrea Merrill is a storytelling wizard, psychology nerd, and speaker monetization strategist with over 20 years of experience and a master's in psychology of applied behavioral analysis. She helps heart-centered speakers transform their stage presence into irresistible, story-driven offers that sell without the sleaze. She is featured on CNN, major business summits, and top-tier podcasts. Andrea is passionate about helping speakers build lasting connections with their audience and turn applause into profits long after the mic drops. Off the stage, she's a proud mom of 5 and an unstoppable advocate for authentic success. Andrea! Girl.
Hello, soul sister.
I'm so happy we're finally doing this. Like, finally doing this. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
so good. And by the way, her intro, guys, is a fire. I love it. And of course, as a speaking coach, like, I had to say it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Andrea's working with me on my keynote. Like, I'm super excited. Like, she puts herself in your shoes. She is the real deal. She will pretend to be you, pull out things you didn't even know that you wanted to say, and make magic. Okay? Like,
thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what I do. All from Jessica's mouth.
So Andrea, tell me about your day today. What did you do today?
What did I do today? You know what? Today was easier for me. You know what's easy? 5 kids, getting them up, making sure that they are off to school, make sure the hubby is gone. He's ready. He's good. No, he's got it. Thank God I don't need to do that. But, you know, an occasional, where's my shirt? Where's my pants happens. And you know what? I get them off to school. I drive them around the corner, get on the bus stop. It's still chilly in the morning. It's around 40 degrees. So I want to be able to take them to the bus stop, come back. And you know what I did today? I jumped back into bed. Yes. Yes. I jumped back into bed. Asked my Alexa to set an alarm for my 30 minutes before my first call because I don't need a long time to get ready. I put on a show and I passed back out clearly because my body needed it. I got up around 9:30, got ready, slapped some dry shampoo in my hair, curled it a bit, mushy makeup on, and then I'm down to my first appointment, which was actually absolutely incredible. Well, I had kind of like back-to-back meetings today, and in between those I do sales. So I had about 3 or 4 inquiries today, sent off my links for that, check in on Instagram, and then back into my next call. I had coaching clients today. I had myself from Stage Mastery program today, as well as a few coffee chats, and then we got on. Wait, hubby surprised me, came home with lunch for me today, and we sat down and did like a 20-minute date.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Really sweet. And then I jumped on with you.
You sound like you've designed your life.
I have. It's more around, a lot of people build out the business and then design their life around it. I design my life around my business. So if I don't want to work, I'm not working. Like, I'm not getting on a call. I'm not doing anything that I don't choose to do, because if I don't choose to do it, then I'm not showing up with purpose. And that means that my calls are not going to be driven in a way of excellence. And I want excellence. I want people to feel like I am getting into their shoes. I feel what they're feeling. I can validate what they're feeling. For instance, on one of my calls today, she honestly, like, I'm prepping her for a keynote next week, and she is so afraid that she's overthinking her marketing materials. She's like overthinking what she's wearing, overthinking her offers. And the one thing she wasn't overthinking was her keynote. And that's because we worked on her keynote. She felt solid in that. So I was like, I am the speaker coach that works on your marketing, that works on your confidence. That's like, what marketing are you doing? What scalable offers are you doing? And I honestly wouldn't have been able to do that with her if I didn't take that extra time this morning to get extra sleep that my body needed.
You see, you literally connected the dots. Okay. Right. Of so many different things, right? You put your wellness first and foremost.
Yeah.
Right. You have your wellness. People tend to push that to the side. They tend to push it to the back burner. And then they often wonder why they're not performing, or they often wonder why calls may go a certain way. Yeah. So you have that. Then you have your values, right? Your purpose, meaningful to you, right? And then you have your boundaries because you stick to it, right?
Yeah.
Then you have your authenticity, right? Because you got to deliver how you like to deliver, how you love to deliver. You're able to deliver as your best self because of everything you did before.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, you're absolutely right. It was so magical. It was a way of showing up as the badass that I know that I can be. And I know that if I am not fully, authentically showing up that way, Jessica, I'm going to fail these people. And ultimately, it's not about failing them. I've also failed myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And have you always been this way?
Oh, hell no. No. I am notorious for 12 calls a day. Yeah. People were telling me, my goodness, Andrea, like, what are you doing? Call after call after call after call. That led to no sales. That led to me not making money, to me not being prosperous in my life. And that's all aspects, like mind, body, soul aspects. And all I was left with was being drained, feeling bad about myself, and not living up to my truest potential. That I ultimately, I'll be honest, I never knew what my truest potential was. I've always been chasing after a dream that I thought was best for me. And it really wasn't the dream that I chose. It was what my mother and father chose for me.
Interesting. So how were you able to identify that it wasn't your dream?
You know what? What it ended up being was I was chasing after so many things, like my degrees. I have multiple advanced degrees. I thought I wanted them. But when I look back, it's not I wanted them, it's my family wanted them for me. And ultimately I was not going to be taken seriously. I was not going to be who I ultimately, the money that I wanted to make and the person that I wanted to bring into my life, like my spouse, was never going to be good enough unless I reached this highest achievement in my education. And what's funny is I was also told that, but on the other hand, I was told I need to be a trophy wife. Like I need to be desirable where a man would want me and to take care of me. But I was also like, but I want to be independent. Like I don't need no man. Like, what are you talking about? So I've always had this fight within myself of, am I desirable enough? And I always thought I had to be chasing after that professional dream. And when I realized that that is not what made me who I am, I need to be who I want to be, that my parents no longer choose that. And I'm almost 40 years old, guys. Like let's be real here. This is like a serious thing that is an epidemic.
It is.
That is going on with all of us business owners who have been taught that way as children, that if you aren't a teacher, if you aren't a doctor, if you aren't a lawyer, you are not real and you're not making real money or real decisions. Like, what are you doing with your life?
And the thing that's so crazy, it is the complete opposite in real life.
Complete opposite. I had to break down walls of, and I'm still doing it, right? Like this is just touching the surface. I will say, in the past year, I've felt comfortable enough to make my own schedule. Let me be gracious. 6 months. Okay. Let's be honest here. Like 6 months ago, maybe a little bit more, whatever, I really started saying, these are the decisions and this is the life that I want. And how am I going to achieve that? Well, it's not going to happen the way that I've been burning myself out. And I burnt my old business to the ground. And that was around a year ago. And I literally had no idea how I was going to make it in this new profession, being a speaker coach. And I thought I had veered fully left when I had actually veered the right way.
Wait, so you burned your business to the ground exactly like 1 year ago, like today? Like not today, but like in February last year?
Yeah.
That's
Like,
so funny.
why?
Because that's when I made my pivot too. I had nothing.
Stop it.
Yeah. I had
This is,
nothing. I had no network. I didn't even have a podcast last year. I launched like towards the end of February last year. I was, like I had no network. I wasn't working. Like it's when I
yeah.
was like, I'm gonna try to grow a consulting firm. This month last year, that's when I made the decision. Like I'm growing my consulting firm.
Yeah. Yeah. I burnt it to the ground, like $250,000. I said bye-bye to.
That's so funny. That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
So
That's
funny.
why we're soul sisters.
It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. And like I was approaching money making like the opposite way where I was like, okay, I'm going to see how many jobs I can work at the same time. Between that, like I was bringing about the same like a quarter, and then I
Yeah.
was burning out.
Completely burnt out, unhappy,
Yeah.
not living life the way that I wanted to. I was taking calls on vacation, taking
Yeah.
calls
Yeah.
during my birthday,
Yeah. Bringing my laptop everywhere.
everywhere. Whether I touched it or not, it was
It
coming.
was there.
It was my
Just in
baby.
case.
Yeah,
Just in case.
yeah, it's that little lever. Like I can just lift you up. Like
Mm-hmm.
kids are sleeping. Okay, mama can work.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's unhealthy. And
Very.
I didn't want to teach my children that a business looked like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't happy. Like I wouldn't be glowing or happy or where I am today if I wasn't like, okay, I'm about to F some shit up. And you know what my favorite saying is? Fuck it up and figure it out.
I really like that.
Yeah. And I really live by it. Because if we don't fail, we don't make mistakes, we don't do things, we're never going to feel, first off, we're never going to feel the pain to change it.
Yes.
And if we don't feel the pain to change it, then we're going to never know the right way to move forward. And that right way means the right way for you, not somebody else.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Wow, Andrea, it's like the more we talk, it's like the more I'm like soul sister, because even how we met last year, right? So it's like we both made the decision, like, I'm going to figure out how to live according to me, right? I'm going to pursue this new thing. I'm going to pursue, I don't even know if it's a dream, but you're going to pursue this because it feels right. And then we just happened to cross paths with Joe Ingram.
I know that guy.
Like,
what?
We just happened to cross paths. Happen. Because I didn't know Joe this time last year either.
My goodness.
No. I didn't know Joe this time last year either. I didn't know him.
That's amazing. Like, this is the power of creating your own life. And it is a dream, right? Like, it's funny, Jessica, that you say that, because last night, my husband really doesn't like his job and he just goes and goes and goes, right? And we tend to do that. We go with the flow. And I tried to like think about it. And my response to him was, if you want to change it, change it. I literally pivoted my entire business, my own business, into a new career path. You can do the same. And he was like, yeah, girl, you did. I was like, yes, I did. That's right. Go me. It was the first moment that I realized that I made a big decision. Big, like major total difference. And it worked out because now I am living, oh my gosh, I am living my most authentic self.
Me too.
Yeah, girl.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And it feels good, doesn't it?
It feels incredible, Andrea. Like, it's speechless. Like,
yeah, it's those breathtaking memories that you never realized you were missing.
Every single day, it's like I wake up with wonder. I'm like, I wonder what today's going to bring.
Yeah. You never know. I mean, I woke up to a PayPal of $3,000 in my account. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're moving the right direction. Like, if you are not in flow and state, you are now going against gravity. You're going against a brick wall. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs really fall flat. Like, they're looking for that next step, that next secret sauce, right? That next strategy.
And all of that is inside of them.
All of it is inside of you.
Literally.
And let me preference, I used to be a previous behavior and trauma therapist. So I like literally live, breathe, and eat me some behavioral psychology. So you're right. And Jessica, you've done the hard work. We've talked about this. You've done the hard work that it takes. No secret sauce, no guru, no strategy, no next best thing is going to change your life unless you make the decision to change it today.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you have to be willing to fuck it up and figure it out.
Yeah, it's scary.
It is.
Because you don't know. You're like literally just floating now.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what is going to happen? When you're like, I'm going to believe in myself.
That is scary.
You're floating.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what I define as trusting God. Where you kind of feel like you're floating. You're not in control anymore. You're just, this is in my heart. Let me take some steps to realize it, right? But you don't really know how when you're first getting started.
Yeah, I think you also have to pay attention to like indicators. Are you listening hard enough?
Indicators. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Indicators. How would you define an indicator?
You know what? It is talking to people, hearing the same story, but they've never talked before. And it's like, okay, God, I hear you. Maybe it's you speaking to yourself and you're like, oh, I think this dream is too big. And then you get on a call with someone and they say every word that you had just prayed for.
Yeah.
It is about believing in yourself for the first time in your life and being like, I'm going to do it despite all odds and not caring what anybody says, which is really liberating and so cool.
It is. It is.
Which I love being a rebel. Like I am like internally a rebel.
Yes.
And I think it's something that you need to listen to. Think of thought patterns throughout your entire history and timeline of what has been coming up for you, which I realize, remember I said I had veered left?
Yes.
But then I veered like right.
Mm-hmm.
When I mean right, I mean, I am now saying what little Andrea said at 5 years old. Is I want to give a voice to those that don't have one. And God had big plans for me that I did not even know were even fathomable. I would have told you 6 years ago, like I went from being a behavior and trauma therapist for high profile cases to being a brand website designer, SEO strategist. That was so like left field, right? Like people are like, whoa, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm creative. I love it. It's fun. Let me do me. It brought in the cash. It helped me grow as a person, but ultimately it did not fulfill that I want to give a voice to those that don't have one. And I literally kept trying to figure out, well, what am I doing in my business that is fulfilling what little Andrea said? And I felt like that was God's purpose for me that I was not fulfilling.
Wow.
And then people are like, well, why did you pick speakers? They literally give a voice back to those that feel like they don't have one, who goes on to give a voice to others. We're now creating a ripple effect, which is what I am all about.
You know what, Andrea? It's so funny because before we started recording, you had mentioned about like, you know, the thyroid when you didn't have a voice because you didn't have a voice.
Right.
And it's just so fascinating because I never, like, the person you see right now was not the person like 2 years ago. Like I was completely different. Like I was quiet. I didn't speak my voice. I was scared to share my thoughts or, you know, my realizations or anything with a lot of people because like growing up, like my siblings are always calling me stupid and I'm sensitive, you know? So I would take that personally. So, and then like whenever I wanted to make a decision on my own, like for example, like I got accepted to FIT, the number one fashion school in the world. I got accepted to FIT. And I really believed in myself that I would be a very, very, very successful fashion designer. And then, you know, my parents was like, no, you won't make any money in fashion. Right. So then it's like, okay, I can't trust myself then. Okay, let me just do what everybody else says I should do. And then my voice became quieter and quieter and quieter, especially as you like, you know, go through corporate America and they critique you too with feedback that's not even real, but you take it personal because they're the authority figure.
Yeah.
I was saying all that person. So I was very, very small inside. And it's so funny that you mentioned like, you know, the thyroid thing, because I thought I had a thyroid thing at one point because I could not lose weight.
Yep. That's an indicator.
I could not lose weight.
I think if you can't lose weight, if your stress is off the charts, despite you trying to manage it, you struggling to sleep at night.
Like, my hair was falling out too.
Yeah.
I can show you pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. No wonder why you thought you had a thyroid condition. Like those are key indicators of a thyroid condition. It means that your nervous system is attacking your.
Yeah. And I got shingles too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Key indicator. There we go. I have another friend who got shingles at 33.
Yeah, I was 30. Yeah.
That is not normal.
No.
Not normal. So those are key those are key indicators that you are not living in your truth. And it goes because you're externally looking at everything instead of internally looking. Like, for instance, 2 years ago, I made the biggest decision of my life to have weight loss surgery, despite everybody telling me not to for years.
Wow.
I have suffered in silence for years.
Wow.
I was like, you know what? Forget all of you. I'm doing it. I lost 150 pounds.
Wow. And the people who told you not to do it, where are they?
Well, I hardly speak to my mother. I've cut her out of my life. Again, I made this decision. This is my decision now. I get to choose who is in my life and who is not in my life. And she's very toxic, not good for my life. She was in my life for some of it. And then she started saying things like, you're too skinny now. When you turn, you float. It looks like you're going to float away. You're no longer there. Like very negative. I do not need that or want that in my life. And if I wouldn't have done inner work, I would have accepted that. I would have been like, oh, you're right, Mom. No, my husband was actually not a supporter, but he was not a supporter in the fact of he was scared me being under, because every time that I've been under in our time together, something bad has happened.
Interesting.
So he was right. Something bad did happen, but it wasn't, I'm still here today. Like, we worked through it and it was great. And he literally just was like, I'm so proud of you for making that decision for yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. But then everybody else was like, now they're rah-rahing for me, right?
Of course. Of course.
I'm like,
It's like, it sucks that human nature tends to be that way, but I'm finding every single person that decides to make a decision for themselves, it's the same thing they get hit with. There's the people who don't support, you do it anyways, they fall off. There's the people who don't support, you do it anyways, and they're like, oh, I always believed in you.
right.
You did?
Yeah, you did?
You did?
Where were you when I was trying to make this decision?
Yeah. Where's the proof? So I didn't feel it at the time.
Yeah. I think it's like, at that point, I didn't ask for permission anymore. And that's how I knew I grew. I wasn't asking for anybody's permission. I was like, I am a grown woman who has 5 children. I can make this decision for myself. And decisions are hard for me. And that's because I've never been allowed to decide. So that's not fair. And that's also really hard to like unbreak those chains that have been shackling me down. And it's like, okay, I'm redefining who I am, or who I've always been and who I've always wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're finally being who you always wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it's interesting about the decision thing, because when you read about like successful entrepreneurs, they're like, they make decisions quick. So right, you see, you gotta do the inner work so you can increase, your livelihood, your decision
you're not going
making.
to scale if you can't make a decision. I literally made up an offer today in the matter of minutes, and I had it right out to her. I was like, oh yeah, I can absolutely do that. No brainer. That's going to bring in money today for my family. Like, if you are overthinking this, then you're always going to be held back. And we are our biggest advocates. We're our biggest hindrance.
Yeah.
Because it starts and ends with us.
And you've highlighted so much, Andrea, because you said, we're our biggest advocate and we're our biggest hindrance. And the thing about being our biggest hindrance is that you have to be really aware of things, right? You have to reflect. You have to be honest with yourself to even identify your self-sabotaging behaviors.
Yeah.
Right? or behaviors that you just started doing just cumulatively over the years. It may have started a little bit, and then now it's just like, for example, behavior I used to be, like if I had a packed week, like I did this week, I used to be like, oh my God. Like I would get through the week, but the whole time during the week, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I was pondering, I'm like, where the heck did this come from? Because I wasn't like that in college, and I was taking pre-medicine classes and economics and some art classes in there, and some extracurricular, right? And I was social. I wasn't like, if I had to take an organic chemistry exam, calculus, all these advanced science classes, I was calm. I was cool. So I'm like, where the hell this came from? And I realized it's from one of my first jobs in a really prestigious corporation that, so it was a big deal to me. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm even here. They told me that I didn't have, mind you, I would work really fast. I was a fast worker. Still am fast. They're like, you don't have a sense of urgency, because I wasn't anxious like them. I was calm. I always met all my deadlines. All of them. Actually, I would deliver work early because I work fast. They're like, you don't have a sense of urgency. So I had to just start pretending like I'm being urgent, right? But then this pretending just like soaked into my body. So I'm like, because somebody was uncomfortable with me being calm under pressure.
Wow. I totally resonate with that in the aspect of, my God, how do you get everything done with 5 kids? If I hear that one more time, I swear I'm going to rip my hair out. Like, you do it because that's what you are meant to do. What's in my capacity? I didn't have 5 kids out of nowhere. Well, I had 1 extra out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah.
But God doesn't give you more than you can handle.
That's true.
So if these things are coming into your life, then it's God gave them to you because He knows that you can handle it. And where in our life have we started pulling on to these other areas? And you know what? It also comes from a broken system.
Girl, these broken systems.
I know us as women, like, we struggle even more. Like, has it been only 50 years that we've been allowed to open up a credit card?
No, really? It's only been 50 years.
Yes, without a man signing.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah. So please tell me, like, what? We have so many broken systems and societal norms that are what we're trying to put ourselves into when we shouldn't. We should be defying the odds of gravity.
Yeah.
And living in our truth. Like, we're not taught that growing up. We're taught live by the books, like do it this way. We're very structured. Like, I was recently at a parent teacher conference and the woman's like, you're always going to work. And I'm like, why say it like that? Because
you're at a parent teacher conference, right? So this is a practice I've really been paying attention to. It's when someone says something, I'm like, tell me about their background, because then I'll know what experience they don't have and evaluate that against that statement. Yeah, because I literally looked at my husband like side-eyed, like, who is she talking to? She's a teacher. No offense to teachers.
I know.
Teachers, they're very important people, but she's a teacher. She's not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And we know the school system is broken. We know teachers are not happy. It's rare to have a happy teacher.
Yeah.
It's hard being a teacher. So to her, work is hard. It's not fulfilling like it should be.
Right.
I would be kind of drastic. I'd be like, I need to take you out of the school because I don't need people approaching.
I want to move because of that. I want to put them in an entrepreneurial school that is actually in Arizona that will teach them the entrepreneurial ways. Like, most of my kids, they are so impressed by what I've done. And I don't even realize what I'm doing until I hear them speak. And I was like, Wow, I got to give myself a pat on the back because I'm teaching my kids a different way of living. They don't have to hustle. They don't have to grind. They don't have to hate their job. They get to choose. And when's the last time that an adult in your life has told you you get to choose and actually backs that up?
The person who did that for me was like my 8th grade English teacher.
Love that. You can like think back to that.
Yeah, it was literally like one person.
Yeah, one. So if you're going to take away anything from this podcast episode is who is that one person who has defied those odds that have said something like that to you
Yeah.
that you can hold on to?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not meant to, I'm sorry, I'm not meant to eat, breathe, and like for the man. Like I have always been an entrepreneur. Like I am definitely like you in the retrospect of I got every single degree, having children, having I think 2 jobs. Yeah, 2 jobs on top of being a volunteer for a guardian ad litem for abused and neglected children. Like I did it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I don't have to do it all. And I took that all mentality from my mother.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I wasn't doing it all, I was never achieving. I was never doing enough.
Yeah.
And when is enough?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's such a different feeling when you start pursuing things out of, I'm excited, I love this, versus I'm going to do this to prove myself because I don't feel like I'm good enough.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. It's literally what I did by moving into being a speaker coach. Like, I was like, you know, it's funny because I had thought I needed to go get a speaker coach certification. And I was like, I need that. No, girl, you don't. Look at all the evidence. And it doesn't have to be evidence of me being an like full on speaker coach because we need to remember that our past matters for our future.
It does.
And a lot of people believe when you become an entrepreneur and you own your own business, you're brand new.
Nope.
No, you are
Nope.
not brand new. You
Nope.
are forgetting about all the years behind you that brought you to where you are today and actually starts checking off those boxes that are what you think need to be checked off, right? So then I started realizing, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And then I'm talking to people who've been through the TEDx program through Grant Cardone.
Mm.
And they were like, this speech that they wrote for me was so salesy. And what you gave me is a standing ovation.
Wow.
Need any certification, and neither do you. If you believe in what you are doing, if you love it, you have that passion, that drive, you are going to make it happen and you know it. And I know what I'm doing.
Oh, yes, you do.
I know.
Yeah. Facts. Facts. Yeah. You do. Percent. What?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. There's no second guessing.
No. Absolutely.
And I'm excited to talk about it.
As you should, because you're so gifted. And it comes so natural to you. It's so natural. Like it's so natural.
Yeah. It feels like I'm having a conversation. Like we met this week.
We did.
It felt like a natural conversation that landed boom, boom, idea after idea. Wait till Jessica comes out with what she is coming out with, guys. Ooh, just saying, some secrets are happening right now. It is so good. But if I did not pivot, if I did not believe in myself, if I did not do the deep inner work, I would not be helping Jessica.
That is so true, Andrea. And you helped pull out that final unlock for me.
Yeah. So how selfish would I have been if I held all this in because I think I'm not good enough? I think this, I think that. We can always do the I thinks. Or the I'm an imposter syndrome. Nobody's going to believe me. I'm not good enough.
Yeah. Andrea, you helped pull out the final unlock I needed. You made everything come together for me.
I love
because
that.
You believed in yourself and the Lord allowed our paths to cross at the right time.
Yeah. I'm getting chills. He kept pushing me. He kept talking to me. And he kept saying, do this. I'm here. Do this. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh my God.
I vividly remember sitting in the bathroom because I don't get an alone time, guys. I got 5 kids. Right? They're banging down my doors. I know when I'm in solace and I go into the bathroom, I speak to God every time. And he told me, you are on the right path. Just keep going.
Oh my God, Andrea.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to you.
When was this?
A couple of months ago.
Oh my God. Andrea.
And if I did not listen, I would not. Yeah. So when we don't listen, yeah.
Andrea, what you did for me was so impactful. Like, because you listened.
I listened, and I don't listen often. I told Jessica I don't listen often. I'm very honest. I don't listen often because I didn't believe in that. And I think it's also religion was shoved down my throat growing up.
Yeah.
That I was like, I love religion, but I love every single religion. So I don't go by a religion because I'm fascinated by every single one. I love culture. I love religion. I love people of ethnicity. It's like,
I love it. Yes.
I love it so much. So I'm just like, I don't listen often. And when I was talking to you and you were like, listen, and I allowed myself to listen during our call. And then you told me I need to listen more after I had told you, well, I don't listen often, but I did this time. You were like, girl, that is the Lord speaking through you. And now since that, I've been listening and I'm slower and I'm quieter. And those moments where I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. It is.
Yeah.
This is real. And if I didn't do it, I would not be on this podcast. I wouldn't be helping you. I wouldn't be helping my clients. So imagine how many people that are listening that are breaking down their dream before they've even allowed it to explode.
Wow. Wow, Andrea. I'm so happy you listened.
Yeah. You hear my dogs?
He's so cute. It's perfect timing.
Perfect timing because little ones are home.
Oh my God, Andrea. I'm so happy you listened.
I'm so happy I listened.
Because it's like, I feel like nobody could have done what you've done for me.
Oh,
Andrea, yeah. The stuff I talk about is complex. It's hard to piece together.
Yeah, girl, I got this. And
you connected the dots for me and you pulled it out.
My specialty.
Perfectly. And then you told me like that nobody likes looking within because it's hard. I was like, what? Are you serious? I do it all the time. Right? Literally the next day, another person told me that same exact thing. Literally the next day. She looked terrified. I was like, no, I'll make you think about your life. She's like, what? Oh, that's scary. I don't want to think about my life. Like, oh my God. That's literally what she said to me. Literally the next day.
That's confirmation right there. See? That's another confirmation for me. That's another key indicator that I am in my God's divine purpose.
You are.
And how many of us are not listening to that?
Imagine. My life was so miserable before I listened. But listening is hard. It makes you make decisions that you're going to hurt feelings. You're going to be disruptive.
Yeah.
Your life will not be like flowers. You're going to have to deal with stuff because you're making decisions for what's best for you.
Yeah. And when's the last time you made decisions on what's best for you?
We always make excuses like, no, I need to do this because I don't want to hurt this person's feeling.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is so, I mean, come on. I've got 5 kids. I don't think about me.
Yeah.
I have so much going on. I have so many clients. I have so many people in my life that I think of that I never think about me. And that's where I realize I thought I was selfish when now I'm being self-full.
Yes. And the thing that's so funny is that once you start choosing yourself and putting your well-being first, the relationships that matter in your life turn to flowers.
Oh my gosh, they do.
Effortless relationships. And they're
Yeah.
beautiful, effortless relationships.
It's so true. I used to be bitter and angry and frustrated and annoyed and angry, right? Like all these. And I'm like, why don't they get it? Well, girl, you're not loving yourself. You're not believing in yourself. You are overwhelming yourself. You're all these things. I'm breaking all the boundaries
Yeah.
because I've never created boundaries. I didn't even know what healthy boundaries were.
Same.
You know, how many entrepreneurs, how many business owners literally say, create healthy boundaries, but then never say what the boundaries are?
That's true, Andrea. I didn't know what boundaries were. I thought boundaries was like, I'm not going to pick up the phone after 9 p.m.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, it's way more than that. It's way more than that. It's saying no, it's not picking up the phone. You know, it's creating your own space and staying firm on it. Absolutely. You set a precedent for yourself, you follow through. Like boundaries is everything you say that you're going to do for yourself, you do no matter what.
Yeah. And that's when people then trust you, go to you. You build those beautiful relationships. When people aren't expecting, because I thought people had to hear back from me the moment that they texted me. And then I would get this anxiety that I didn't message them back. Girl, they don't care if I message them right back. But I put that.
But actually, I thought people cared because I had a couple friends throughout my life where they would be anxious if I didn't respond back fast. So to me, I thought that's how people were thinking across the board.
And then they're programming you for them.
Yeah, they were programmed. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Ooh, you made me say, I usually don't curse on my podcast like that.
Sorry, I've been saying. See?
Yeah.
They're programming you, them.
Yeah, that's what was happening. I was programmed for them. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And because of that, it was this whole codependency thing where like, but deep down in my heart, I'm like, this friendship is not for me. And I don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah. And you can't break free.
I didn't know how to get out of it.
Well, now I have this codependency. I have this person that relies on me. What happens if I go away?
Andrea, there was so much codependency. There wasn't even like that space to say, what if I go away? It's like, no, think about it.
Yeah. I had that relationship and burnt it down. But it took a lot.
Girl, the Lord helped me out with that one. The Lord literally like slapped me across the face. Like, this is what your life could potentially be. Because it was like this, I had like this highlight moment where like, all of a sudden people cared about what I had to say. And like, I thought I was about to like automatically like get like underneath this really social media influencer person or whatever. And so I thought that was my moment. Like, oh my God, I'm switching timelines immediately. And I was like, girl, I'm going dark. I'm disappearing. But then I had like 2-3 days of silence by myself. And I was like, no, I can't go back to what that was. And it was even before any of that happened, having any type of meetings with a social media person. I just like cut it off because I was like, I got to prepare for this new life.
Yeah.
And I had like 3 days by myself and I was sitting outside in my backyard and I'm like, I finally felt like that, like
I can relate.
And I was like, all right, God, I hear you. I will pay attention to what you need me to do.
Yeah. We got to remember people aren't going to go with us, right? Like I let go of my mom. I barely talked to her.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I had to let go of my mom too.
Yeah.
We have a understanding of each other from a distance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember I talked to her and I apologized. And I was like, I'm apologizing for me, not for her. And then I realized I have control of relationships.
Yes, you do.
And that's a part of boundaries.
It is.
I get to control who is in my life and who isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But the experts aren't going to say that. They're going to go back to shut your email down at a certain time.
Yeah. Even with my husband, I started doing this because before I was thinking like, to be a good wife, I have to always be available. I have to, whatever he wants to do, like, I just, and then I stopped doing that too. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a little less available. Put some mystery
in the marriage.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is she up to? What is she doing? You're busy? Oh, but you know what that caused? It caused for him to treat me like we're dating again.
I love that. You should always date your spouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're in love with each other.
Yeah.
It's like, and we've been together. Tomorrow's going to be 9. We've been together 9 years. He was my first Valentine. Yeah. 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 He was my first
Congratulations.
Valentine. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. But from me loving myself and being fabulous.
Yes, girl.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And a feminine businesswoman too. I don't need to be masculine. For what?
No.
What do I need to be masculine for? When you shake my hand, I will shake your hand like this. Like,
yes.
I don't need no power.
Right?
For what?
I shake some woman's hands that I'm like, whoa.
Like, why? Excuse me. I need to go to a spa. Let's hurry up and close this deal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got to get stuff done. And then I'm going to go to the spa. Thank you.
That's it.
Right?
But we're really told that as business women either.
No, we're not. I'm so feminine. Like loving myself made me so soft and feminine, and being comfortable with myself. And like, I see the changes in my husband's behavior. Like,
I love that.
He like texts me. He's like, "Hey, baby, I'm thinking of you." I'm like, "Of course you are. Thank you, baby."
I know me and my husband, we were just at a dinner for friends. And I was like, why don't we go get a hotel room for the night?
Yeah.
And we totally got a hotel room for the night. And I'm like, okay, when's our next hotel room night?
Yeah.
I'm like looking forward to it. I'm like, we got to make those moments happen though.
It's intentional.
It is intentional. Yeah. It's not like these are things that we're randomly doing. It's like, no, we're willing to do the hard work because it is hard work.
But you know what, Andrea? Everything is hard.
Everything is hard.
Being unhealthy is hard. It is hard. My body would hurt just trying to cook dinner. My back would be killing me. Just trying to cook.
So what hard do you choose?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'd rather choose me all day long.
Exactly. It's so much more fulfilling.
So much more. And that's where the growth truly happens. I believe it. Because every successful entrepreneur, right? They have done the hard work internally. One of my friends, he is a multimillionaire. He works out, I think it was like 2 to 4 hours a day.
Wow.
He goes, this is me time. Okay.
Good for him.
Like it.
Oof.
He works on his mindset. He works on scalability offers. Look, he's moved behind me now. But he works on those intentional areas of his business and he comes back with ideas. He's that inventor, that invigorator, that interjector that has defied all odds. And I'm so impressed by him all the time. Like, wow, yes. Yes.
Yeah. That's incredible. I love it. I love it so much. Oh my goodness, Angela, we could talk forever.
We could talk absolutely forever.
Oh my goodness. If you could give yourself 3 pieces of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
3 pieces of advice. Love yourself deeply and unconditionally because you're worth it. Second piece of advice is trust your own intuition and gut. And third piece of advice is, I'm going to say it again. Sorry. buck it up and figure it out. Because if I would have told little Andrea that, you know how far I'd be like, yeah, I can mess things up. Doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be anything. You have to be willing to do it in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me at the Andrea Merrill, either .co or on Instagram and LinkedIn and all the other social media channels.
Wonderful. You guys need to connect with Andrea. She is the best. I love her so much. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Yes, it was. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.